What's up, Kansas City? I'm your host, Glenn Brian Frizzell. Today we are filming in the Lincoln Building right here where history is being made at the 18th and Vine Street area. I'm here today with Miss Megan Crigger, who is the Director of Creative Services and the Overseer of Creative Services and Culture for the City of Kansas City, Missouri. Now, did I say that backwards? Or
Culture of Creative Services, yes.
For the City of Kansas City, Missouri. Can you give us an overview of that department?
Sure. So it's a division really with the city manager's office, and it's fairly new. It opened in January of 2015, but there was a lot of work that happened prior to that, and the community coming together to recognize that arts and culture is critical to our city's economic health and our personal prosperity.
Now, was Mayor Sly James instrumental in?
Absolutely. So it was Mayor Sly James that created the task force on the arts. And out of that 2-year process and lots of public engagement came up with a 10-year plan. So it essentially serves as a roadmap for the office in terms of 10 goals that have been laid out to ensure that there is positive growth in cultural development here in Kansas City.
Now, we won't ask you about each one of those specific goals, but that does sound like an important task. Can you tell us what is the initial end game? What is the goal?
Well, I think bottom line is I think it's a bold statement for the city to open an office of culture and creative services. It's not unusual across the country. There's over 5,000 what we call local arts agencies. Very few, although more so now, coming into municipalities, understanding that it's the quality of life through arts and culture that really establish a city as unique and important for the residents who live there, as well as an economic impact for the money that comes in for people who are traveling around to see arts and culture.
Now, sure, we know that Nelson Atkins is a huge draw here. Can you tell us about, Ms. Crigger, your personal involvement with the arts? Can you give us a little bit about your background? Are you an artist? Do you paint?
I won't say that I'm a professional artist, only because I respect so much what artists do in their lives. But me personally, I came from Austin, Texas, and my parents were artists. My father was a jazz musician, and my mother was an opera singer. They struggled a lot in their life, caring for a family on artists' incomes. And I think in hindsight, I look back and I realize maybe that's the impetus for what I'm trying to do is making pathways of success for individuals who have a skill and a talent that want to make a living off of those talents.
That is so interesting. Now, did you catch that bug early or later on? Did you go to school to sing
Well,
opera?
I studied in studio art. Actually, I was heading into music, and my family told me that was not going to be my path. So I studied studio art and then landed at the Community Gallery in Austin. Did 14 years of public art, was a public art director, and then oversaw the cultural development for economic development department in Austin. And that is when I'll say the connection between Austin and Kansas City. I already had my eye on Kansas City. My husband's from here, but more than that, great things are happening here in Kansas City. In particular, there is the Artist Inc. program, which supports artists in their business development practice, or helps with business skills in their arts practice. And so we brought that to Austin, and it was a way for me to provide a link between Austin and Kansas City.
That's an important communication link to have there. Now, you've been in Kansas City for a while now, I assume?
It'll be 2 years in January.
Is there a distinct difference to the art, whether it's poetry, whether it's music, whether it's painting? Is there a distinct difference to Kansas City artists than maybe down south Texas where you
I think to make a global statement about the difference.
What makes us distinct?
Yes, okay. The diversity of artists' talents and disciplines. I'll say that Austin was certainly a hotbed and an attractor for musicians, although there are visual artists and performing artists all over. Here, I see a lot of cross-discipline collaboration happening. A musician working with an illustrator, and a lot of support between those artists in wanting everyone to be successful in their work. And it so happens that Austin, as the city, was investing a lot in the music industry. Here, the city and civic leaders recognize the broad spectrum of the arts, so not just music, but certainly performing arts, the opening of the Kaufman Center for the Performing Arts, but in different areas, recognizing the value of also literary, very important. And I even take a really broad umbrella, not just the fine arts, but the creative businesses. So individuals who are making a living through graphic design or architecture or woodworking, they're all equally important in helping that personal prosperity, which is what the project that we're working on speaks directly to, which is we want artists to be successful in their business, but they also have to have a place to live and to work. So we've partnered with the Economic Development Corporation to hire in Art Space to do a market study for us. And so we are asking everyone to go online to kcartsurvey.org, and it takes 5 to 10 minutes to fill out a survey. But what's unique about this survey is that we're asking for what your needs are in the way of creative space. So if you're a sculptor, do you need a big dock or a bay? If you're a painter or ceramicist, is there ventilation systems that you need? Is this community interested in community spaces or co-working spaces or performing studio rehearsal spaces? Not until we know what the needs are we in a position to really help to fulfill those needs. And so ArtSpace is helping us with this survey. www.kcartsurvey.org. And while there are creative spaces here in Kansas City, none have really been informed by what the community really needs. We've never had the data to back it up. And what I love about ArtSpace, they're out of Minneapolis. They're one of the only that I know of nonprofit developers that is committed to affordability of spaces for artists. They started out in the 80s as an advocacy organization, and then realized that they weren't able to do what they really wanted to do, which was ensure in perpetuity affordability. So they got into the real estate business, and now they have, I think, they own and maintain 35 properties. I think their assets are $500 million all over the country in like 20 states. So they're interested in Kansas City, but they're more interested in understanding what the community needs before they come in and identify places to develop. So in the survey, we're asking artists, where do you currently live? Where do you want to live? What is your price point? What is your income? So that the spaces that are created either through ArtSpace or other developers who are interested in supporting the creative community can design something that is really useful.
Fabulous. And Kansas City is a broad city. We have a lot of fabulous artists, some unheard of and some heard of are all around. Now, when you issue this clarion call, what is your hope? Do you hope to get a wide, eclectic mix? Some artists maybe from the urban community, some from Crossroads, some from South Kansas City?
Yes, it's not only citywide, it's actually throughout the metro. We want to hear, we want to know, even in the surrounding area of Kansas City, Missouri, what artists' needs are. We think it could be an attractor for artists to actually move into the city limits, but it just gives us a broader idea of our region as a whole for the arts community.
Thank you for telling us a little bit about your project today. Do you have any closing words, any closing thoughts?
No, I'll just say it again, kcartsurvey.org. It's actually open until January 13th, but I say go ahead and fill it out now, and then you can relax for the holidays.
kcartsurvey.org. We implore you to go online and take the survey. Takes a moment out of your time and make a difference today. I'm your host, Glenn Bryan for Zell. Go online for more video, www.whatsupkansascity.net. And remember, the sky's the limit. Aim high, shoot for the moon. If you miss, at the very least, you would have landed among the stars. Take care until next time. Thank you. And thank you, Miss.
I'm IFBB Bikini Pro Cat Williams, and when I'm not working out in the gym, I'm searching the web on Cascade Media and What's Up Kansas City. So make sure you check them out.